Good evening, everyone, to the Ambassador, and welcome to the Leader of Day's evening event. I want to first of all thank you all for having me here. It's an absolute honor. It's my first time in Albania, and I've already started to see so much energy, enthusiasm, richness, potential, and productiveness in this city here. I wanted to start by actually letting you know that, according to the World Bank, Albania ranks 58th in the world for the ease of doing business with. And actually starting a business, incredibly, Albania ranks 46th in the world. It's amazing for such a young, vibrant country that's coming through such rapid changes since the 1990s. Yet, on contrast, youth unemployment in this country is over 28%. At one point, we had the highest rate of around 34%. That still shows that 1 in 4 young people are unemployed in this country. So why is entrepreneurship education so important? Well, societies need innovation. Without innovation and disruption, we can't evoke change. And there are 3 things that are involved of being disruptive. We need to challenge convention, we need to create imbalance, and we need to continue taking action. We need to graduate more doers, more thinkers, more people with cutting-edge solutions. Once my Prime Minister said, no nation can live off its past glories. We need more people to come up with new ideas and new ways to make their countries great. And that responsibility lies in our youth. So we need to support our youth as much as we can, wherever we can and however we can. Entrepreneurs are anomalies, and what does that mean? They may not look book smart. I'm not book smart. I left university after the 2nd lecture in my first year. Why? I wanted to become a car designer, and the first question I ever asked my professor was, have you ever designed a car? And he said no, so I packed my books and I went home. Then I had the biggest pitch of my life. I had to tell my parents I was leaving university. So all of you young guys out there, just remember, every step you take, every decision you make, you're going to be negotiating and pitching for your life. So entrepreneurship and education is not just about teaching business values and business principles to young people as a part of an education framework or curricula. You see, entrepreneurship brings a lot of other things, social and well-being factors. Our youth of today are not here just to make money. They're here to rebuild not just our economies, but also the social well-being. You know, in China, they have a very big problem with smog and smoke and congestion. And it was an idea of a group of young and middle-aged people to actually come up with a solution to this problem. Now, the problem I'm going to share with you, or the solution I'm going to share with you, should I say, is actually called Diamonds in the Sky. And what they did is they actually started to build these tall pylon structures which sucked up all the smog. And then what they would do is filter the air and push all the fresh air back into shopping malls and areas where people used to get together and stuff like that, playgrounds and shopping malls and stuff like this. Now, when you collect all this smog and you filter it through, you're left with a lot of carbon. What they decided to do was to pressurize the carbon so much that they could produce diamonds. And it's these diamonds that they sell, and the money that they make from these diamonds pay for new pylons to be grown as structures all across the city. You see, in my world, there's no such thing as a bad idea, just poor execution. Anyone been to Canada? Anyone been to Canada here? I know the US Embassy is here, but this story comes from Canada. Just entertain me, please. In Canada, during the winter, they get a lot of snow. And when the snow falls, it hits the telephone lines. And as the weight of the snow falls on the lines bow. And this is a big problem in Canada because it creates a disruption in the communications. The CEO of Canadian Telecom addressed his audience, his employees, and he said, we have a big problem here. We need to solve this problem, and no idea is a bad idea. Now, please, can someone give me an idea? One brave soul put their hand up, and they said, let's give everyone in the company a baseball bat. A baseball bat? What are you going to do with a baseball bat? Simple. We're going to hit the bats with the post will shake, the line will shake, and the snow will fall. Problem solved. Okay, I did say no idea is a bad idea. So he gave everyone in the company a baseball bat. And at lunchtime, instead of going for lunch, they went out to hit bats against posts. The next day, only half the workforce came to work. What's going on? Said the CEO. Boss, we have a bit of a problem. What's the problem? Some people got lost in the snow, and others have injured their shoulders from hitting bats against posts. So we're not going to have so many people at work today. This is an even bigger problem now. I only have half the workforce and all this snow. I need this problem sorted. You are going to solve the problem. No idea is a bad idea. Now please solve this problem. So this time, they sat in a circle. There weren't many of them left there. And the first person said, right, what could we do? We can't use any more people. So someone else said, what does Canada have a lot of that we could replace people with? So someone else goes, bears. Canada has lots of bears. How are you going to use the bears? Someone else said. Well, bears like honey. We can put honey on the posts. How are you going to put the honey on the posts? Well, we could paint it. Remember, we're not allowed to use any more people. I've got it, said the last person in the circle. I've got the idea. Give me a helicopter, a barrel of honey, and a spray gun. What are you going to do? I'm going to fly in, I'm going to spray the post. The bears will see the post of honey. They'll scratch the post will shake, the line will shake, the snow will fall. Problem solved. The boss was starting to think, like, if he fell in the snow, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But anyway, he requisited a helicopter, a barrel of honey, and a spray gun. The guy gets dressed up like Rambo, gets up into the helicopter, and off he goes. He's getting close to the first post. But he's a little bit out of range. So he said, pilot, get me in a little bit closer. He's now in range. He's taking aim. He's about to press the trigger, and the pilot said, stop. Does anyone want to tell me what happened? Anyone? Anyone want to have a guess? What happened? Okay, I'll put it out of your misery. The snow blew off the telephone line. But how? From the propellers of the helicopter. Now today, in the heart of winter, Canadian Telecom send helicopters straight down telephone lines to blow all the snow off the line. But let me tell you, that started with someone talking about baseball bats. The moral of that story is there is no such thing as a bad idea, just poor execution. Every single idea has a time and a place to grow. But the biggest problem in entrepreneurship and the biggest problem in growing businesses is that ideas aren't often shared because people fear that their ideas aren't good enough, or people are not prepared to listen to what seems like an outrageous and crazy bad idea. But just like from baseball bats to helicopters, any idea can be the missing link to changing the game in any company, in any solution. I've lived my life right the way through the last 13 or 14 years of professional sales and marketing, spanning IT, electronics, and healthcare. But one thing that I've always had in my life, which I think I'm really lucky, is great management and great mentors. People that are ready to listen to the crazy, whacked out ideas that I have. People that are ready to give me a chance to show them how I can make their company not good, but great. And it's the responsibility of CEOs and leaders of companies to not just take their company forward, but to open the innovation, and that innovation comes from youth and creativity. Our young aren't inexperienced, or they're not, shouldn't be undervalued. We are talking about a new generation who are going to take this world and this economy forward. They are your future CEOs. They are your future consumers. They are your future ministers. They are your future leaders. Just because their mindset is a little fragile, just like a baby, nurture them. Because growth is invisible at first. If I gave you all a pot, some soil and a seed, and I asked you to plant that pot, plant that seed, when you water it, can you see what that seed is doing? Can you see the seed? No. You just keep nurturing and nurturing and nurturing until you get a green shoot. And that is the result of your nurturing. But a plant needs water and light to grow. So now, once you see that green shoot, you change the dynamic. You add light. And together with water and light, that plant grows and grows and grows until one day it outgrows the pot. Now you have a choice. Do you put this into a bigger pot for growth, or do you cut it and plant it into your garden for scalability? So remember, growth is invisible. You have to nurture it. It's not about taking a risk. It's about knowing that there's no such thing as a bad idea. Poor execution is the only thing that results in what we see as a bad idea. In my world, there's not also failure. I have never failed in my life. I've only learned. You see, failure is the distance between your expectation and your delivery. Don't talk about failure as something that's backwards or forwards. It's a part of the process, yes, but it's simply something that's telling you either you've over-expected or you've under-delivered. Reflection is so, so important. So why is it that employers need to invest more into entrepreneurship? Why? Because there are more young billionaires that are developing in this community that we have in entrepreneurship today. Our young leaders who are it's amazing to hear what JA have done by engaging their programming across the whole curriculum, across all ages over the next 5 years. Because this is something that I haven't even seen or experienced anywhere else in the world. And believe me, I've been to a lot of places around the world. The future here is going to be not just amazing, it's going to be exciting. And those of you that have been taking the Leader for a Day experience, you are going to be an integral part of that. You are the first step forward into a new Albania. But why do we need to do it? We need more entrepreneurial and entrepreneurial traits in business. We've got to think out of the box. We've got to have crazy ideas, because unconventional thinking with continued action equals new results. We need to innovate through disruption, and the young minds and creativity that comes from these young minds are the key to unlocking that innovation. And as I say, they are the future of your economy. They are the future of your business. So remember, we need to challenge convention. We need to create imbalance. We need to continue taking action. In 2011, in my country, in the UK, we had riots. 1 million young unemployed people. We call them NEETs, not in education, employment, or training. It's very close to the word knit. Does anyone know what the word knit is? I don't have that problem because I haven't got any hair, but essentially it just sounded ugly. Tagging young people as nits or neets. And as a result of this, our young plagued the streets. They looted, they damaged, They set cars on fire. In fact, young people died because of those riots. I was fortunate enough to work through my network to get to my Prime Minister. We put together Youth Enterprise Live. But some of the statistics from Youth Enterprise Live, we impacted 18,500 young people in the UK. We gave away £750,000 to 18 to 24-year-olds to help them start their own businesses. We gave away £150,000 towards social innovation or social projects that young people wanted to do, 3,000 placements or internships and 300 jobs. We did this in 2 days, but it couldn't have come without the support of our communities. Today, the UK has a lot of different schemes running. We have Innovate UK, which supports and funds inventions. We have Startup Loans, which has now brokered over 45,000 loans, given over £200 million to 18 to 30-year-olds who have all started businesses, which have now created almost 100,000 new jobs. You see, you don't have to be over 50 to be a CEO or an MD or a leader. It's not an age. It's not about wisdom. It's about desire. It's about vision. It's about seeing the opportunity where others can't see the opportunity. That's how you challenge convention. You create an imbalance by not pushing to prove others wrong, but pushing to prove yourself right. And you keep doing it until everyone else can see it. Because when you disrupt something, you create positivity and negativity. But it's only once the noise dies down that the ripples of the work that you do starts to turn into your legacy. Now, I applaud every young person that's been through this program, but I also advise this is the first part. This is the first step. You've got so many more steps to come. Don't lose your focus. Don't lose your passion. And if someone tells you that you can't do it, just like that video said at the beginning, tell them you can. Because at the end of the day, it's your future. It's for you. Not for us, it's for you. And we are going to do everything we can to support you to get there. Thank you very much.